Yeah, you are audible.
Okay, thank you. Good evening to all the distinguished participants, esteemed speakers, and respected faculty members. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to day 4 of the 6-day ATAL sponsored faculty development program on demystifying data for intelligent applications in real world scenario, organized by Department of Information Technology, Institute of Engineering and Management, Kolkata. Over the past 3 days, we have engaged in an enriching journey of learning, discussions, and hands on insights into the vast domain of data driven intelligence. Your active involvement, thoughtful questions, and enthusiastic participation have significantly contributed to the success of the program so far. As we step into day 4, we move deeper into advanced concept of practical perspectives that are essential for understanding the real world impact of intelligent systems. Today's session have been thoughtfully curated to help you explore more sophisticated and specialized topics guided by eminent resource persons from both academia and industry. Their expertise will further strengthen your ability to apply this concept effectively in your work and research. I encourage all the participants to contribute the same level of engagement task, ask questions, share your viewpoints, and participate wholeheartedly. Your commitment to learning is what makes this program meaningful and impactful. Thank you for your continued dedication. Wishing everyone an insightful, productive, and inspiring day 4. Today's first session will be conducted by Mr. Shondeep De. Mr. Shondeep De is a seasoned analytics professional with over more than 18 years of experience in advanced analytics across both captive and service industries. As a subject matter expert in machine learning, artificial intelligence, and generative AI, he brings strong cross functional leadership in analytics, consulting, and platform development. His prowess lies in the leveraging AI driven solution to enhance business outcomes through the design, development, and implement of sophisticated analytical frameworks. Professional expertise includes generative AI and machine learning in the domain of generative AI and machine learning, leading innovative projects that utilize generative AI to create adaptive, intelligent solutions. Advanced analytics includes extensive experience in developing data driven strategies to drive efficiency and business growth. Cross domain expertise includes proven track record across retail, CPG, telecom, high tech, banking, and financial services. AI powered decision making includes empowering organization with actionable insights through cutting edge AI technologies. Mr. De's career began with HDFC Bank as deputy manager in risk analytics after completing his MTech from Indian Statistical Institute. His contributions have been pivotal in both risk and marketing analytics within the retail banking and CPG sectors. In his most recent roles at PwC, TCS, and Cognizant, Mr. Sandeep led teams that showcased comprehensive analytics capabilities from business intelligence spanning from business intelligence to advanced analytics. This includes text mining and other unstructured data analytics, where he played a key role in the development of innovative analytics products. Achievements and leadership includes built and he led high performing teams to deliver end to end analytics solution, instrumental in developing and implementing AI driven products that revolutionize business process. He has demonstrated leadership in integrating generative AI technologies to streamline operations and drive strategic growth. I would like to I would like to invite Mr. Shondeep De to start his session. Sir.
Thank you, sir, for giving me this wonderful opportunity to interact with distinguished professors across different colleges, universities. So It's definitely a pleasure for me to connect with all of you. And it's a win-win situation, I believe, both for you and for me, because I believe in academy industry collaboration is very critical, and day by day it's become compulsory actually, uh, that there is a knowledge exchange happens between universities, colleges, and our professional services. So keeping that in mind, I think sir has already talked about me, like what I have done and so far. I'll quickly talk about um, what is my key strengths, though overall idea all of you have got, but I just wanted to highlight that I have 19 years of experience, 18 plus years of experience in analytics industry, and I started with HDFC, as sir has already mentioned. So then HSBC, Barclays, those were not mentioned, so I thought of like mentioning. In HSBC, I was working in marketing analytics. In Barclays, I worked in both risk analytics and fraud analytics. And after that, I was working in Cognizant, TCS. I worked with uh, PwC, and PwC I was primarily working for PwC, and currently I'm working with LTI Mindtree, where I'm predominantly working in the generative AI solutions. And I'm into now currently into business development after extensive work of doing technical developments and project management and stuff like that. So thank you and good evening to all of you. Uh, Without wasting much time on introducing, what I would like to have this session more of a interactive. Um, So whenever I will be discussing something, please feel free to stop me and then ask questions if you have, because I love to have interactive sessions where people interact. Otherwise, it's more of a one-way communication, which I do not prefer. Anyways, okay. So thank you very much. Let me start my session now, and as rightly mentioned that it is the topic is demystifying data for intelligent applications. So predominantly, I'll talk about the application of data science, application of AI, application of generative AI. So that would be my primary topic of discussion for today. Let me share my screen first. Please let me know if you are able to see my screen.
Yes, your
And I
screen is
would like,
visible. Your screen is visible, sir.
okay. And I have close my video off, keeping my video off so that the bandwidth does not get impacted.
Sure, sure, sure.
Okay, so what is my topic? What I would like to talk about is empowering enterprises, a deep dive into data science and its business application. Okay, so that is what I'm going to talk about. But these are the topics that I'll take you through during the discussion. And as I told again, that please feel free to stop me anywhere and ask questions whenever you feel like. So first I'll go through the introduction, the data science life cycle, key techniques, and so on and so forth. So we'll come here one after another. So since all of you are eminent professors from the different colleges and universities, so needless to explain this, particularly the journey so far, uh, especially I can connect and correlate my experience with this journey very well, because as you can understand, I mean, when 19 years back, when I started my career in HDFC Bank, obviously there was no, as such, no concept of AI per se. It was predominantly business analytics. Data science also the new terminology that has evolved and come later after many years, of course. That time it was business analytics, and we were predominantly building the predictive models like scorecard building and stuff like that. But this is the evolution of um, the journey, I can say, from the AI space. Um, we were primarily working on the traditional models, traditional algorithms, legacy algorithms, and then the machine learning came where we are dealing with a huge amount of data. Uh, then the complexity arises with the more complex data, unearth the integral relationships among the different data points, different data elements. Then the concept of this image processing concept was very much there long time back, of course, but um, implementation, mainly computational complexity, and the storage was one of the major, hindrance or showstopper, which has been resolved later on. Nowadays, storage of image data, storage of text data, unstructured data is no longer a challenge. So that is why this so much of advancement is happening. This from CPU to GPU, and now we are capable of managing terabytes and petabytes of data, and not only storing the data, but bringing the data into our day-to-day life for every single decision making. That is where this particular topic or subject or the data science becomes more and more, applicable to all of us, and we are very much happy to see that. Earlier, the main problem was like there was data, there's a petabytes of data, but then even one single query, if someone wants to uh, apply and get the data information extract out, that used to take a huge time for processing the query, getting the logic implemented, and so on. But obviously now with this computational complexity has been taken care of the GPU of the machine of the complexity. And now we are able to easily extract information to whatever extent complex is. Okay. So that's pretty much about the journey, AI, machine learning. Within machine learning, of course, the deep learning where this ANN, CNN, convolution neural network, deep neural network, all these things comes into the picture. And within that, the generative AI, where we are talking about that LLMs, that large language models, the different large language models. Of course, today I'm not going to go into the details of these algorithms because that is not the purpose and not the objective. The today's objective is primarily to talk about the applications, where and how these applications of these algorithms are helpful, how business are getting benefited out. Okay, so hope this slide is clear to all of you. I'm not explaining this particular slide. So typical data science life cycle, of course, I would like to share the thoughts out here. And this life cycle, the data science life cycle that I'm going to talk about, it's pretty much maintained everywhere. Okay, be it traditional model building, be it AI model building, be it generative model building, be it model building using deep neural network or deep learning, anything. This is the journey every data scientist or Gen AI engineer or business analyst has to go through. So my primary purpose is to share with you this knowledge so that during your discussions with your students, which we don't get the opportunity to interact with the students directly. So if this kind of informations are communicated back to the students from in their college days, then it would be really easy for us to, you know, uh, cover up and to scale them to industry ready material. Okay. So how we solve the problem? Obviously, the first is the problem identification. So one obvious question is that, Sandeep, what are you talking about? I mean, the problem identification is what is so complex about it. Why you have mentioned this particular thing, and then the data collection, then data cleaning and preparation, and so on and so forth, coming one after another. But what I would like to talk about what I would like to talk about is the problem identification. I'll talk about my personal experience being a business development or data scientist or Gen engineer. Client does not really explicitly gives their problem statement right in front of us. Okay, so they say that okay, this is my process. I'm just taking one particular example in my recent days experience. Okay, uh, with one of the client. I am not able to share the name of the client. It's an aerospace. You can understand. So, uh, all the airlines perspective the data, and they have a manufacturing. They are actually manufacturing of aircraft parts. Okay. Now these parts, they are also do the repairing and overall means when the parts comes in, then they check the parts and then they finally decide whether the part has to can go for repair or this part has to be replaced. So this is the kind of problem, and they have a lot of vendors through which they get their customers. So directly, they don't have access to the end customers. So customers are tied up to the different vendors, and then vendors are giving. So the problem statement comes to us like, okay, there is a lot of kirana shops, I mean, small shops who does the similar repairing and overhauling of their equipments parts, which is obviously not up to the mark. And then the brand value of this particular organization is going down. So identifying this kind of activities where it is happening and how it is happening. So they wanted to do this white space modeling, and so that was the kind of problem statement they have given, like that they explain. They in during the discussion they explain the problem, that this is my problem. Now from here, understanding the problem, okay, then one is the business problem, then converting business problem into a statistical problem statement, and then the respective data collection. Okay, and after collecting the data, obviously the rest of the process is in a very standard process like data cleaning, preparation, data analysis. This data analysis is primarily that exploratory data analysis I'm talking about, to identify, okay, we have plethora of algorithms, but then which algorithm will be suitable most, and then we have to explain it to customer that why we are choosing this particular algorithm X over Y. Let's say there is a support vector machine and random forest and gradient boost. Suppose these are three machine learning algorithms. Then the question is which one will be selected. Okay. Now we have the approach of ensemble methodology where we use the different permutation combination of these different algorithms, and then we check the best results where it is comes, and then we recommend that. But even then also we have to do this exploratory data analysis on a pilot or a small sample data. Then we have to establish this every algorithm and everything, and then we have to recommend to client that which one would you like to go for, because now client is also very intelligent, and they have their own team set up into their environment, and they also would like to judge that, okay, if I implement this, what would be my accuracy, what would be my precision. So all this model diagnostics are very critical for client, and they would like to know before even you implement the solution. Okay, so that's pretty much about the data science life cycle. So problem identification, data collection, cleaning, analysis, model building, deployment, model monitoring, and model maintenance. So this particular last two steps, if we say model monitoring and maintenance, this also plays a critical role in terms of engaging client for a long-term relationship. So after model building, we deploy the model into their production environment. But then the question was like, okay, if something happens with your model, means let's say the population stability index, means the population based on which the model is built, if it is shifted, then whether this model drift can be identified or not, and if we identify, then what would be the potential actions to be taken against that. So those we have to clearly call out. That comes under the model monitoring. And this actually, till this, the relationship, whatever relationship we build after that, this model monitoring and model maintenance plays a pivotal role at how we are actually keeping a healthy relationship. So here our expertise comes in terms of AI, understanding the AI models, implementation, development of AI models, and then. But this is very crucial and critical, and probably that is why I spent some time over here. So I would like to take a quick pause. I mean, maybe not all of you have hands-on experience or a significant amount of experience, but do you have any question on these particular slides? Yeah, I'd like to take a quick 1 minute or maybe 30 seconds if you have any question, because if you write something in Teams chat, since my screen is uh, shared, so I'll not be able to see. So I would request you kind of unmute and raise your point.
Participants, if you have any question, please ask.
And sir, in case since you are monitoring, so
Yes.
in case because my screen is shared, so
Yes,
I
yes,
am
yes.
not able to see.
Surely. I will check the chat
Kindly,
and I will stop you and I will ask.
yeah, you can stop me and you can ask this question on the behalf of the participants.
Sure,
Okay.
sure, 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 sure. Participants, do you have
Okay.
any question?
I have a question. Myself, Dr. Devashish Chakraborty.
Yeah.
Yes,
Hello,
Yes, sir.
am I audible?
Yeah, yeah. You can.
yeah.
Regarding the data, actually, collection of data is very challenging. That is, actually, we work on data which are available in different repository, but
Correct.
faithful data, that is the quality and quantity of data. If we like to collect it, then it's very much challenging. So it is actually
Correct.
very much it's a major problem in India particularly. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
for example, if you like to gather clinical data which is not available in any hospital or in
Mm.
clinics.
Mm.
So do you have any concept that how can we collect data, our own data, so that we can
Yeah.
work
So I
with
will
the machine learning
I will
algorithms?
very good question, sir. Thank you for asking this question, and really appreciate your thought on this. Since I am pursuing my PhD also, or it is almost on the verge of completion, and I'm doing on the retail banking. And as you have rightly mentioned, banking and clinical data are extremely complex to, I mean, extremely difficult to get from the open market because these are PII sensitive data.
But
PII,
one
that is
thing is that I have
personal.
another query. I have another
Mm.
query is that, and actually I've completed the PhD at least 10 years back. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So thing is that right now, when writing a paper for any journal or conferences, the
Mm-hmm.
now the similarity assessment of similarity, that is plagiarism is okay, but one another part is added, that is the AI similarity. But I don't have any belief
Correct.
on AI similarity because I have tested it. A paper which I have written 5 years back, even if I have written this paper, but when testing with Turnitin, my paper also gives us huge AI similarities for 45%, 50%. Although I have written that paper with my own knowledge. So that is, if you
Correct.
have any
Now,
idea that is AI, I don't believe in AI similarity because it gives different level of similarity at different times. That's a very complicated problem right now to write a paper in this
no,
case.
no, sir. I will answer to your second question first, and then first question second. Okay, this is.
Okay.
So regarding this AI similarity, I will tell you why this has happened, and for all the other participants also. So don't be afraid of this, because once you have written your paper in your journal, in any eminent journal, and it's already published, that means many people are referring your particular paper. Okay, and they have taken different snippets. They are doing lot of things from there, and in fact that is why it has come to the knowledge base. Okay, now when this now, so since it is already in the already in the open market, right, through the journal or something, so it's multiple time it is being referenced, so many people are using it. Okay, And now when you are taking this and giving back to AI for checking your AI similarity, obviously the similarity will be very high because people are already using your paper as a reference. That is why you are getting your AI similarity. But the concept of the fresh paper when you are writing a paper, definitely, which has not been in market, right? So when you are writing this, definitely this paper has not gone into any knowledge base so far, right? So that paper knowledge similarity will be very much lesser. I mean, I will not say it can be that 2%, 3% is absolutely okay in the plagiarism, but not more than 5%. So there can be some words matching or something, but concept wise or the overall semantics, which we call semantic concept, I mean, the actual inherent meaning, so that cannot be copied. So that way it is correct, it should be correct because when you are writing for the first time. But if it is already in the market, now you will be taking back that and again checking with AI, it's basically checking it is with his own reference. So that is why you are giving high similarity. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Another query, but just very critical thing is that suppose if you define a data, say x is equal to x1, x2 dot say xn. Okay, when it's checking with checking similarity, it shows red. That is it is plagiarized. If you write say algebra, if you write say a fuzzy set, it shows red, plagiarized. Why? This is because if we like to define any standard equation or any data set, so actually it also shows red or same. That is plagiarized. So instead of the writing say data set x is equal to x1 x2 dot. So what we shall write instead of that? But because
No,
we
no,
have
no.
to,
It is.
these are the standard words. Hmm.
These are the
I
standard
think you
words.
have
You
got
are
my point.
absolutely right. I completely got your point. So for this, I'll tell you, for this particular thing, if you check sentence by sentence, it might get some similarity because of this kind of generic usage of the words, which is happening. So don't worry about that. You overall, so suppose you have, let's say, 3,000 words paper or 4,000 words paper or 10,000 words paper, right, or 15,000. So out of this similarity will be very less. Of course there will be similarity, but will be very less. So you can safely use this kind of generic words, of course, but then it is not going to come under plagiarism. I'll tell you, if you are doing it for the first time, I can guarantee you, no, it is not going to have that because it
No,
has
no.
not gone to knowledge base.
No, actually, I have checked using Turnitin. Even my college name, my name also, it shows plagiarized. My name also.
Yeah, of course. Of course, you can understand. With your name, there are so many names, so it will come. But obviously, when they give this percentage matching, they will also give where are the matching they are seeing and on what basis they are giving the score, overall score. So when you are actually publishing or submitting it, that time it is being taken care of. Okay. Yeah. So
Okay.
that was the second question first. First question, which you asked about the data collection, which is a very valid question. And I wanted to tell you that in Kaggle, please go and check in Kaggle. In Kaggle, you will get a lot of data. So those data are basically masked data. Suppose read banking data or clinical data, they mask the data where they keep the original information, but masking it the PII information or identifier. Okay,
No,
so they
I
mask
know that
the.
the data is. I know the data is available in Kaggle and other sources also. That's I know. I have used it. The question is the
Yeah.
collection of data from some set, say, uh, in India, particularly the clinical data collection of clinical data is very challenging. It's actually not possible to collect. Yeah, particularly in
No,
India. I'm not
then
talking about the.
there is a no. That is why I was coming to. Clinical data is challenging for everybody in India, in abroad, everywhere. But there is a way to do. One is this. Why I am referring the Kaggle data is not to use those Kaggle data as it is. Then you have to synthetically generate the data. So because the even if you want to generate the data synthetically, you need some good reference data points. Otherwise, you cannot assume the distributions and you will not be able to generate the data. Obviously, sir, you know, of course, how to do this. But I'm just for the understanding of the other participants, I'm just telling. So data, clinical data, you will not get, not even in India, even outside also, this is unless and until you are part of the research organization, and that is very restricted. So data collection, definitely, and single-handedly data collection, if you like, we do in other situations, manufacturing data collection from plant by visiting plant or something like that, that is not going to happen from the clinical data collection. So obviously this is a challenge, but for clinical data analysis and analysis, we predominantly depend on the synthetically generated the data and then doing the testing. But if you generating the data synthetically, you have to have the reference data. Those data you can get it from Kaggle or the similar science lab data where they mask the PII information. You will get it, of course. Maybe you can connect me offline. Maybe I will do some research and I'll help you out if possible. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I think
So, sir, sir,
good.
there is another question in the chat box.
Mhm.
How this process can be applied in health monitoring system? It is asked by
Correct.
Mamta Kumari.
Okay. Thank you, Mamta, for. So I have one slide for that. Different apps. What was the question? How it is going to help in health monitoring, right?
In health monitoring system, huh?
Yeah. So it's already in place. So first of all, this health monitoring is already in place, especially the insurance company. I am just taking one or two names, quoting the names, but like Cigna or like similar insurance companies who gives lot of health insurance, they actually ask you to download an app. Okay, in that app, you on a regular basis they give some targets like water intake, walk, and all these things. Like we all have that smart variables, right? So like a Fitbit or something like that. So through this, they collect the data and they monitor the blood pressure, blood sugar, and stuff like that. So this is currently is in place. So how it is happening is basically through this variables. They encourage to take the challenge. Okay, 10 days challenge, 20 days challenge, 30 days challenge, and regularly input data from customer side. So all these insurance and especially the health insurance companies, they are promoting this so that their customers stay healthy, and if they stay healthy, then definitely they will pay the premium, but they will not fall sick, and it's a win-win situation both for their customers and the beneficiaries and the companies. Okay, so it is happening like that. So through the health monitoring apps it is happening, but then yes, they encourage customers to use variables health like Fitbit and all, and then input, they get the data from the customer directly. Yeah, and through which this kind of model building, because they understand what are the upper limit and lower limit of all these different disease and their indications, and based on which the models are getting developed, and then uh, in advance the users or the customers are given notifications. Okay, so like take more water or take less water if somebody has a protein related issues, kidney related issues. So how who should take how much of water intake, all these things are currently all are monitoring remotely through this health monitoring app. And there are so many health monitoring apps, probably you have seen all in your Facebook and everywhere, right? So these are true to an extent, but how accurate it is depending on who is building these kind of apps. Okay. Okay, shall I move on?
Yes, sir. No more questions yet.
Okay. So that's the data science life cycle that I've talked about. But in order to now, I will focus on this particular. Let's say I have talked enough about problem identification, data collection. I think we have discussed a lot. Then data cleaning and preparation we will discuss, of course, and then data analysis, which I talked about, like it's an initial data analysis which we call like uh, based on piloting, and then we do the model building, give the confirmation to client. But then the question is what kind of data and what kind of techniques we are using. Okay, supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and data mining, and then two more, predictive analytics and data visualization. So there are many, okay, there are plethora, but I try to kind of give a quick glance at what supervised, unsupervised, data mining, and then predictive analytics, forecasting, and data visualization. These are the five aspects I try to cover in my presentation, but obviously this is not exhaustive in nature. Okay. So supervised learning means where you have a defined output, means you know input and you know output, then based on which you can really develop a model uh, where we use which we call the supervised learning. So one of the example of supervised learning is, let's say, very simple linear regression, right? X and Y. Then non-linear regression. So any kind of regression model predominantly is a supervised learning. Since you know both X and Y, means explanatory variable and response variable. So obviously, one of the example I have given, like the company has uses supervised learning to categorize customer based on purchasing behavior. Label data includes past purchase history, customer demographics. The model learned to classify the new customer into different segments like high value customer, occasional shoppers for target market. So this is bit complex. So why I have given this particular example? So when we teach our students, like they I will always have my X and Y clearly defined. But here it is what I am talking about, or the reference I am given is it is the dependent variable is not clearly defined. So it is our duty to define the response variable and then develop the model. Okay, so that is where this example I bring in. Okay, so where based on purchase behavior, you define what is your high value customer, occasional shoppers, or low value customer, something like that, and then you develop your model. And definitely this is why this is important. See, there is no thumb rule that what should be that particular representative number, right? So from if I go on any retail perspective, okay, so different brands have their different cutoffs. That is why I am saying, I have mentioned here that choose your own cutoff and define who is your high value customer, who is your occasional shoppers. Okay, like I'm just taking two names, let's say Mintra, and one more is what is online shopping, let's say Flipkart. Okay, so within Flipkart, I think, or Mintra or Shopper Stop, for example. Okay, Shopper Stop also have online, offline both stores. Mintra has only offline stores. Sorry, only online stores, online purchase actually available. So obviously, if I have to define the customer segmentation for Shopper Stop online versus Mintra online, their purchase transactions, the transactions and the frequencies, the purchase amount, and all these things are very different, right, for X to Y. So now if I have worked on Shopperstop and then if I switch my job and I come to Mintra, and then if I have to define something and if I use the same similar cutoff, then we'll win so, right? The model is not going to give the right result. So that is why I'm saying that supervised learning, but not directly supervised, right? So you can call it semi-supervised or something. So that is one technique. Then unsupervised learning, which is the model is trained on labeled data and must be find pattern on unstructured. So it's pretty much completely unstructured, no labeling, nothing. So you give k-means clustering, then DBA scan, something like that for unstructured data. Okay. For structured data, obviously you can use the k-means clustering, and you can do the customer segmentation. So this is unsupervised learning. Data mining, all of you know to an extent, I know, but I just thought of like bringing this particular example where all our respected professors, just wanted to tell you, like, here we are dealing with, I think, longitudinal data and cross-sectional data both in market basket analysis. Okay, so that is why this is determining becomes so crucial. Means which um, appropriate different algorithms are used earlier. Now it is the association rule mining is one in market basket analysis. Like which are the two products or which are the two contents should go together, which you are seeing on a day-to-day basis. I'll come to that example later on. Like on a day-to-day basis, whatever we are, how Google is knowing or how Myntra is knowing or how Flipkart is knowing. Suppose I purchase something 2 months back and then they keep on recommending very related stuff with me. So that is the similarity through the similarity matching. Okay, so they calculate the product similarity, and earlier that was a very uh, traditional way of doing. They calculate the similarity between the product, nature of the product, and they used to recommend. Okay, so that was long time back. Now, along with those product characteristics, they bring in the customer sentiment, customer behavior, consumer behavior. Okay, and that they bring in into their analysis, and then they recommend. So obviously, it is not that straightforward. Similar example I can give you about the Netflix. When we see there's OTT. In OTT, when we watch something, the moment we completing our watch, then you will immediately see out of a plethora of contents, you will get to see some important relevant contents are coming in. Okay. Still, because I have worked with during my experience, I was working with on the Netflix and Hoichoi. So we came to know like how we were recommending how they are doing this similarity matching, and we identified and we told them that what are the other aspects you need to take into considerations. So, for example, the viewers. I'm just giving an example. The viewers, when I see the OTT is not able to see who is watching, right? Just by uh, uh, movement of the remotes from content to content within the same OTT app, we try to identify the pattern. But now in a household, there is a, let's say, 60-year-old person, and then there is a 30-year-old person, and there is a 10-year child, right? So three people are there. So one TV, for example, and then sometimes somebody is watching. There is this shifting of contents are happening. So how to identify how to segment that? So those things are coming under the data mine. Predictive analytics and forecasting. As you can see, I have given a slash. This is very, very important. I know many of you know, many of you may have not really concentrated on this. Sometimes we tell that we are doing the forecasting, but we say that we are doing the prediction. Okay, so there is a slightly fundamental difference between prediction and forecasting, though more or less both are same. But obviously, forecasting tag to the time series data and predictive analytics. The prediction, for example, um, tag to the cross-sectional data. So it is, and during my experience with the different other interactions with the students, I'm not talking about the professors, the respected professors, but with the students, when I ask these questions, I mean, somehow I did not get this answer. Do you know what is the difference between cross-sectional data and the time series data and the longitudinal data? So somehow they are not able to explain these three terminology. I'm not going to explain it here because all of you know to an extent. So it is important to tell our students that yes, this is the time series data where all the different aspects. I have only single line of data where all the aspects are captured in only this one single line of data. Okay, over different time steps where the strain, seasonality, cyclical, and other components are irregular. Um, Impacts, market impacts, everything are captured in one single line of data. Whereas in cross-sectional data, say for example, the consumer behavior data, we have one customer and then it has multiple attributes, 10 attributes, 20 attributes. So this particular customer is being assessed based on these 10 attributes. So it's a cross-sectional data. And when we consider both longitudinal and cross-sectional together, we get the when we get time series and cross-sectional data together, it becomes a longitudinal data. It is obviously what I perceive. I am just explaining to you, but if you feel there is something else, feel free to tell me, of course. But this is how I differentiate and distinguish the longitudinal data, especially when it comes to the survival analysis. So survival analysis, if I have to explain how this, so what is the survival analysis? So all of us are using the set-top box, right? In the along with the TV. Some people are not using; they're using smart TV and all. But earlier we used to use the set-top box. Now these set-top box are given by the different companies like Comcast, here Samsung, and there are many more brands are available. So they want to understand and check that which particular machine or device is going to fail and when it is going to fail. So these are the two aspects we are predicting. So when it is going to fail, and suppose I have 3,000 set-top box, which are the set-top box have a higher probability to failure. So that's the first aspect. And second aspect, once you identify higher probability, let's say 90% probability of failure, then when it is going to fail, means after 2 months, after 3 months, after 2 days, when it is. So they do this will actually if this kind of this exercise I did in one of my previous companies. I was in Cognizant, I did this exercise. So they call it set-top box failure prediction. So this is one of the very interesting example of longitudinal data analysis where I take into consideration both cross-sectional and time series data together and how it is. So when and which actually. So these are the two aspects are covered in longitudinal data. Data visualization. Many of you now in colleges I see, and I'm very happy to see that many colleges have introduced these dashboards, especially we call business intelligence BI. One of the few names, for example, Power BI is one of the dashboarding tools. Then Tableau, then Google, I think some dashboard, I forgot the name. So there are many dashboarding tool companies are available, and people are learning. People are learning on how to represent the data into the different aspects of the different angles. Okay, so data visualization plays a pivotal role in any customer situation. Whatever we analyze, finally client wants to see it, to feel it, right? That okay, what is happening? Show me, and the different cuts. With this data visualization, I will bring in quickly. I will bring in one aspect which is generative AI. Okay, so in generative AI, I will talk about in my subsequent slide very quickly that we are bringing one, for example, the visualization tool. Currently, it is happening like okay, I will be developing one visualization tool where I will ask, okay, what are your KPIs? What are your metrics? Which metrics you want to see? Let's say, for example, with respect to marketing, number of conversions, for example, and then city-wise conversion, region-wise conversion, dealer-wise conversion. So all these things comes into the place. And if I talk about the e-commerce website perspective, then what are the different channels? How many clicks? How many? So there's funnel analysis in e-commerce perspective. So all these things are showcased through the the Tableau or Power BI or something like that. There's a dashboard. But now with the help of generative AI, we actually take into consideration both structured data and unstructured data. We call it NL to SQL, means natural language to SQL, means you're writing a statement. Say for example, I want to see year on year my or quarter by quarter my sales number, okay, or the revenue number, whatever you want to see. This particular KPI or the matrix we want to see year on year, on month, or quarter by quarter. Then it hits the SQL database, if it is in SQL, suppose. Okay, Microsoft SQL I'm talking about, or Azure SQL. So hit the database, get the data, create, run summary, basic summary, of course, and then give it back in the form of chart. So now it is so advanced that these charts and graphs are created dynamically. Obviously, I will tell you still, since we are doing it day in and day out. So obviously, not predictive models can be developed on the go, but the basic charts and graphs are can be built through the, or we are building it through the interactive chatbot or generative AI, Gen AI based chatbot. So this is currently happening, and it is in the market, and clients are using it. Especially, this is very helpful for the CEO level or CXO group or C-suite persons, because they don't really have time to go to the dashboard, click on, check the numbers, and then download the report and all these things. Instead of that, they go quickly chat that, okay, I want to see this number, and for them, that high level number is more than enough to get an idea and to take the strategic decision. So this is very helpful. So now when if we have to teach our students, like, okay, that was the dashboarding tool, uh, please help them with this new aspect of data visualization, that within chatbot also we can bring in by hitting the SQL database and getting the information or the attributes, then running the basic summary on that data, and then using again a SQL to natural language. So that means NL to SQL, then SQL to NL. This conversion is going to happen, and customer will get their, or user will get the unstructured input versus unstructured output. So I think we have talked about so many techniques. I'll 2 minutes I can spare here just to get your views or questions. Yeah. Any question, if you feel like can be discussed here, or any suggestions you would like to give, or any point you want to know, additional point which I could not cover, to all the respected professors, faculties. Collect for 30 seconds, and then I'll move on to the next topic.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, great. Let's move on. But if you have questions, I think you can post these questions, or you can send these questions and to our uh, respected coordinators, and then they can collate and send it back to me, and I can definitely take a look, and I'll try to answer all the questions. Okay, if it's not able to possible to answer all the questions. Okay, over to introduction to AI, artificial intelligence. Of course, we talked a lot about AI, so definitely it's I'll not go through again about this machine learning, NLP, and computer vision. So these are all applications of AI, or part of AI, or how, whatever the way we want to define it. This is like this. Machine learning I just spoken about. NLP I have just spoken about. Computer vision I have not talked about, but I just wanted to touch upon one thing: is the computer vision um, is very important. And as I was in this during the starting discussions, when I was talking about that computational complexity and uh, processing and reading the image data was very complex earlier days. Okay, but now with the help of the generative AI especially, so reading any image data, for example, even a PDF can be an image format, because as you know, right? So day in and day out we take the picture of a PDF. So maybe it's a prescription, maybe it's an invoice, or maybe something else. All these are in a JPEG format or PNG format. So these are still considered as part of the image only. Now, this image data is easily readable nowadays. Okay, and the different cloud services like Azure, like GCP, AWS. AWS Bedrock, GCP, Google Cloud Platform, and Azure, which is all these three companies have their APIs, application program interface API. So they have their API for multimodal. So multimodal means there are three modes, which is uh, text, audio, and video. So these three is the multimodal. They call it multimodal. So we can post one picture, we can post one, let's say, one snippet of our text, or we can post one video. Any of these can be interpreted and giving it back to you related to that particular content. So any content now is can be analyzed and evaluated, and you can ask any question about any of this content. And this is happening. This is happening through the different APIs which have launched by this company. And these APIs are what they are doing. They are in the backend. They are actually taking, for example, Microsoft, right? So Microsoft, if you upload an image in ChatGPT or Copilot, okay, then it actually doing all the standard work for the image processing, right? And through that API, image API. And then you ask any question about that image, it will be able to give you the answer. For example, we have done this exercise also, okay, and this is very, very helpful to the industry nowadays, because in procurement, in what is called the department, sourcing and procurement. So in sourcing and procurement, it's a big challenge for big industries. There's a big challenge. Why? Because they are getting day in and day out so many, RFPs, proposals. Okay, then they get analyzing those proposals, and then coming to a decision, and then the purchase order, creating the purchase order, then releasing the bills. So all this assessment earlier, it was done through human or manually driven. Then they bring in RPA, robotic process automation. So which does some bit of automation, but again, the RPA was not that much successful, because I will tell you, when I was in Cognizant, I was doing one particular very big project for Verizon. So they set up a very big team in the offshore. Long time back, of course, this has happened. They want to automate the entire sourcing and procure automation. Okay. So this sourcing and procure automation, there are different interactions, different people are involved, different skill set of the people are involved, because there are different departments. Of course, one person cannot understand all the different departments, requirements, and their terminologies. Okay, so how to? Then obviously they have to employ a lot of people, right? But with this GenAI intervention, which we call is a disruption, for all good reasons, of course. So these disruptions really helps a lot in automating this. So then now you give the entire data into the repository, create the knowledge base from the previously experienced, manually driven people. Then these are uploaded, and then from that knowledge base, we train the system, and then we create the agents, and then these agents, that AI agents, behave like a human, and they take the decision on behalf of you. Why? On the basis of the knowledge base that we. So this is how it is. It is very, very helpful. So this is one of the good example of AI, where we takes care of the machine learning, natural language processing, and computer vision. So through computer vision, we convert that image data to an unstructured data, and once we do the unstructured data, convert it into unstructured data, then we actually apply the different NLP's, natural language processing algorithms, and once we convert that NLP, it becomes a structured data, and after structuring the data, we can actually apply the machine learning algorithm. So this is order of sequence, it is completely the reverse. Okay, in case of. And but in Gen AI, what I have seen that machine learning algorithms are not directly being used. Predominantly, it is a still unstructured level we are relying on. We are not typically dealing with a structured data. So structured data and unstructured data interaction happens when this NL to SQL, the one that I talked about, happening that time during this unstructured to structured data interaction is happening. Any question? Okay.
No, sir. No, sir. No questions at that.
Okay. So introduction to though I have already included from my previous discussion that gradually that from traditional to machine learning to AI and then from AI to Gen AI, as you can understand, right? Needless to explain now, like why this Gen AI is now into the market, how it is being helpful. It is not to only to generate the CVs or only to generate what we do on a day in and day out to craft an email. No, it is not limited to that. It has a huge implementation scope, and where a lot of industries are getting benefited, especially. Okay, when I was in PwC, I was working for one of the client in Japan. Uh, so where we have implemented that entire what you call the PMO system. Not PMO, sorry, it's an appraisal system. So in appraisal, what happens, when a specific candidate comes in, right? I mean, candidate means obviously the associate, and there one manager is tagged to, let's say, 10 associates or 20 or 30 associates. Then the actual problem comes in during the end of the year. Okay, then everybody fill up their goal sheet, and then those goal sheets has to be evaluated by the manager, and then the manager has to give the comments, and then after that comments, the manager has to give the ratings. Okay, so now I have 30 such associates. Now think of a situation if any of you being giving this particular task. So think of if you really doing it honestly and with due diligence, you need a sufficient time and to do the evaluation for each of the associates, what they have written, analyze and give the rating. And suppose there is a 5-point rating system, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which 1 being the best and 5 being the worst. Okay. Now out of these 5, suppose if I give someone 1, I have to explain why I have given that exceptional. If I give 5, I have to give the explanation why I have given the worst, because I am evaluating. So obviously I need to give the explanation, and that person who is receiving this particular rating also have the right to know that what has gone wrong, right? Now think of a situation that if I have 30, 40, 60 such associates, and if I am running a project of 30 people, all of the associates are working really hard day in and day out. And end of the year, I have been asked to give the rating because based on which they will get the appraisal. So this was kind of a challenge where giving the rating and then recommendations, and then identifying their strengths and weakness. In case of highest rating, strength; in case of lowest rating, the weakness has to be identified. This is where this semantics or the I would say the sentiment of the words or the writer is very important, where GenAI plays a pivotal role. Okay, so there is one application that was developed which really helps a lot, where this appraisal system has completely revamped, where managers' life are cool. It's an unbiasedly analyzed their content, means whatever the associates have written. Then a rating recommendations will come, and obviously the manager will have the authority to override that if the manager is not in alignment with what has been recommended. But at least he will get first level of assistance or support, which is significantly huge, because this is completely data driven. That means the person who has written based on that content, these rating and recommendations will be generated, and then finally this particular manager will take the call whether about the perception of the person who is working. Based on that, it can be overrated. So this is one of the biggest example in the generative AI, which maybe all of you are currently facing, or you will be facing in near future if you are running some 30-member team, 40-member team, or something like that. But I think in fact in academics this does not really happen. But if somebody goes for work and managing such a big team, it's a big. And another example which I have just talked about, that sourcing and procurement, where we are dealing with a large amount of data, unstructured data, picture, image, and all, analyzing those, taking right decision at the right time, I mean, very small span of time, is very critical. So, which is being taken care by generative AI, and a lot of applications are being developed now currently where this kind of chat assistance happen. Another one very good example I will tell you about in help desk. Okay, so help desk means CSS, customer care representative. So this is currently being applied in many organizations are currently doing this automation, where you are facing any challenges, then instead of calling, or you call it. Uh, Earlier it used to have like chatbot, but then chatbot is painful. I mean, people have chatbot is not successful to an extent. It gives very standard answers, which 99% it does not, fit into our uh, actual problem, right? So it is important to know my problem and give a customized solution to my problem, where these customer care representative solutions are using generative AI. It was very important, which has currently many organizations are implementing. Okay, so it is the kind of automation it is doing is like it takes the customer complaint, then it understands, then it routes the right person, then it that another agent, actually if I call it an agentic solution, it transfers to another agent, that particular department. So this is I'm just trying to touch upon the agentic solutions that currently into the market, because many of you have this heard about that agentic solutions or agents, right? So what these agents are doing, how these agents are being used into the market. So it is like that. So one customer service care representative is like one agent. Then this one agent is connected to 5 different domains. So they are like so this one agent we do not call it as an agent, we call it as an orchestrator. Okay, so this is agent orchestrator, and this agent orchestrator is connected to 5, 6, 10 domains. So, for example, you are for banking. If I create one agent, then it is like agent orchestrator. It has 5 different agent. One is, let's say, savings department. One is investment. Another is insurance, and so on. One is a credit card. So for each department, one agent is created. Now, that credit card agent has all the information about credit card. Now, the moment you write something with the credit card, then this agent orchestrator identifies that, okay, this is linked to credit card. Let's route this to credit card agent. Now, the credit card agent try to solve the problem. Then they understood that it is actually misinterpreted. It is not typically. I have checked from my end, but it is let's say return and refund issues. Okay, then bank account has some problems, some savings related issues. Okay, so then it transfer back to agent orchestrator and says that this is related to savings department. So then it goes to the savings account, savings orchestrator, agent, savings agent. Then savings agent try to solve the problem. So this is how the entire the solution flow works in, which is called the agentic solution. Okay. 7:10. I have 20 minutes, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think 6. Uh, I have 6 business case to quickly present. Though I am talking about business cases only, but this is more of a structure with respect tagging to a specific area. Okay, but before that, 7-11, I can stay, let's say, 2 more minutes or 1 minute I can give you if you would like to understand or ask any question that I have discussed so far. Any specific question you have in your mind, because there's so many participants. So of course I would like to hear.
Participants, if you have any question, you can unmute and ask.
Yeah, I can give you 30 seconds. In next 30 seconds, if I don't get any answer questions, then probably I will move on. Any question?
No, sir, no questions.
Okay.
Till now.
Okay. But I hope I am able to
Good evening,
convey
sir.
my.
Good evening, sir.
Please.
Actually, we are having no queries, but it's a kind request from our side. When I am listening your session, it's very interesting. Will you please share the PPT to the organizers so that they can give it to us? Kindly,
Yes,
sir.
ma'am. Of course. Of course,
It's
this
very
presentation will
attractive,
be.
sir.
Yeah. Of course,
Thank you so
So
much, sir.
really glad
Thank you.
to hear that because it's kind of I try to be interactive, but obviously so many people it's very difficult. I understand, but I will be
We will
this
use it in
presentation
our
will be shared.
future career also. Also, we can share
Yeah.
it with our students also. Now they will be getting beneficials.
Absolutely. That is the intent through you only, to all of you faculties and respected professors. My only intent is to reach out to the students who are actually studying and all, coming to the organizations for the work.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much, sir. Thank you for considering. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. It will be.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Good evening. This is Professor Manjusha from Sai Vidya Institute of Technology, Bangalore.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, could you suggest some local voice assistant models?
Mm-hmm. Local voice assistance model.
In the sense, based on local regions, languages.
Oh, acha. Okay, got it. So I think Geo has not Geo actually. Reliance has launched that the local voice. I think Hanuman is the new app that has been launched. So you can check, because where this all the Indian languages are being considered.
Oh.
So I'll share the link actually. So this is not only voice. So it's basically the kind of OpenAI version, Indian version of OpenAI.
Okay. I actually, my students are working on this voice assistant, but on these local regional languages.
Correct.
Yeah, it would be beneficial.
Okay. You, I will keep this in mind. Maybe you can connect me offline after this. Okay. Not today, but sometime else. My email ID will be shared. So you can Bharat GPT. Yeah, Bharat GPT ecosystem.
Okay.
And Hanuman, HANOOMAN, a large language model. This is a project, Indian government, Indian version, where actually they have highly focused on Indian languages, especially North, South, all languages, Tamil, Telugu, your all other languages, of course, South and North, all languages are being covered. I mean, almost all the languages are covered, Indian languages. So please note the name, HANOOMAN. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
And it is a Bharat GPT. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Just check this and request your students to look into this. They will definitely, but I think it's a subscription based kind of thing. Some free version you will get. It's the multilingual and multimodal. You will get Vision API. You will get voice API. All this API you will get, of course, and text
Okay,
API
sir.
obviously it is there.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Most welcome. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? So I'm really liking. I mean, see, I always try to be interactive. So any other questions? Yeah, quickly. Next 1 minute, 30 seconds. Okay, let's move on. So customer analytics, understanding consumer behavior or customer behavior. In the right hand side, you can see the picture where we have given the customer segmentation, acquire new customer, new revenue. It's actually a life cycle. Acquire, grow, and retain. This is the cycle, and this is a closed loop. Okay. Um, if we not able to do correctly in all these three phases, we will not be able to grow. So that is the main perspective. And segmentation, I already talked about, but segmentations, grouping of customers based on similar characteristics and behavior, and forecasting future customer actions and trends. These two are, I would say, very critical. And segmentation followed by activities, right? So if I want to know what this segment of people, I mean, if I mix all the segments of people, then it will be difficult. So that is why the segmentation and then the actions of those group of people is very important. Okay. Coming to the example, I already talked about the Netflix recommendation system, which currently being used or they are doing it. So they are using machine learning algorithm, to my knowledge, of course, but I know for sure they are doing much more than this. By examining watch history, rating, and search queries, Netflix generates personalized content recommendation for users, improving user experience and retention. So this is they are doing it. I can tell you with my experience, I have worked extensively on bringing the Netflix, I mean, as a customer to talk with. So their their reach in Western, I mean, outside India, their reach is very high. Within India, their subscriptions are not not at par. Okay, so that is why I think you have seen recently there is a two version of subscriptions. I think 150 or 250 rupees versus 500 rupees and something like that. So there are different subscription model they're bringing into the picture. But what my observation here is, not only subscription can play a pivotal role in increasing or acquiring more and more customers. Language is one of the important things. Right now, I think Professor Manjusha has just talked about. So local native languages, content related to native languages, and let's say Netflix original series with the native languages. Those things, I think, if you watch Netflix on a regular basis, at least I do, I have seen that they have increased that. So through content creation, um, and choosing the right content for the right set of audience is one of the key things, but which is genuine general for all of them, all the OTTs. What would be so unique about it, like customer choices and preference means once this OTT app is installed in one device, maybe it is smart TV or mobile or somewhere, then identifying that particular user is very, very important. Identifying that user means who is actually watching. If it is in mobile, then it is easily by looking at the content pattern, that user nature of the user can be identified, because obviously the gender, age, those things are not normally, it is not being asked by the app developer or the app information. So they only take the very standard information like mobile number and all, which is very anonymized details. Now from these anonymized details, if you really want to understand the consumer behavior, uh, or their preferences, then the only this thing is the screen time. I mean, whenever they are watching, what they are watching, what kind of content they are watching. So through it, but it becomes challenging when it comes to the general TV or the smart TV, where many people logs in together. But then again, Netflix has done beautifully that the different profile creation. But even at least it happens in my home that only one profile, my son is also watching, my wife is also watching, I also watch, right? So that means that profile creation, if they blindly go with the profile creation, okay, there are 3 profile, one for kid, one for wife, one for husband, and then they do the recommendation, that will also be wrong. So they cannot go blindly with that. So it is very, very intrinsic that they look into the content or watched by the user or the viewer, and then do the decision making. So this is one of the important key aspects of understanding the consumer behavior. Similar thing happens in the e-commerce side, where you are not really able to. Why I am bringing this particular aspect? You can say that, Sandeep, why you are not talking about that shopper stop or pantaloons or offline stores? Because shopper stop, pantaloon, offline store is completely different their nature, because customers are coming on their own. They are roaming around, they are choosing, and they are billing it. So their perspectives, still to an extent, you can by changing the look and feel, by changing the apparels, ordering, and locality wise, you have a lot of control actually when it is an offline store. Okay, but if it is an online, means people will not are limiting to that 30 kilometer or 15 kilometer, right? For offline store, what it happens? It happens like, okay, any store located in a place within 30 kilometers from that store, they try to position that fashion statement. They keep the apparels, they keep everything with respect to their local choices. Hmm? And every 30 kilometer or 40 kilometers, they keep on changing. So that control they have it, but understanding consumer behavior in the e-commerce space or online space is very difficult, because anybody anywhere can purchase your product, right? So how you are going to identify your consumer properly so that you can really recommend? So for you, and again the challenge is the cookies information now we are not allowed to store. So that means if a customer is coming again and again, cookies, and from that cookies we identify that, okay, this customer visited last 4 times or 5 times or 6 times. So to an extent some mapping can be done, and then you can send the advertisements, or you can send some promotions and something like that. But after government has banned these kind of cookies, I mean, fully has not been implemented, but typically this is the biggest discussion is going on, that cookieless future. So then all this e-commerce or online shopping and or everything, the kind of recommendation we are getting on a day-to-day basis, we will stop getting those things. So that is why this Google or Adobe, so who are doing this marketing full-fledgedly, they are very worried, of course. Cookieless future we are calling it. So please go and do some reading. You'll get a lot of ideas, because you will heard of, more maybe a lot of you have heard of this cookieless future. So what is that? Okay, what happens if there is no cookie? I mean, if government has given this order that no cookies can be stored or cookie analysis cannot be. So that you need to you can go and check. But as of now, obviously, these cookie information are being stored, and from there, a lot of recommendations we are doing. Operational efficiency, another example. Now, I have 6 more minutes. Operational efficiency, improving business process. Of course, as I talked about that, improving business process. What business process we are talking about? Optimizing the supply chain logistics. So this is one of the example that I have decided to show you. So operational efficiency means the ability to deliver products or services in the most cost-effective manner without compromising the quality. The question comes in, how do you ensure few things it's not in your control? For example, climate, right? Climate. So prediction of climate, it's very difficult. Though in today's date, it is to an extent it is under control. At least we know. But then logistics. So suppose if we are not able to plan it properly. So suppose I'm just giving an example that that one particular shipping takes let's say 10 days. Okay, and in these 10 days, if there is some political unrest happens in one of the cities, Okay, and then this your truck has to go through that go through that particular city, and let's say they have stopped, let's say for 24 hours or something, and if you have your perishable items in your truck, okay, then how do you manage? Then this entire thing will go on waste, right? So this kind of when we are talking about that optimizing the supply chain logistics, we are talking about that whichever you know it's easy to manage, but the problem is which you don't know or which is suddenly coming in on your way, how to mitigate those kind of challenges. Okay, so predict demand, optimize inventory levels. This ensures timely delivery. And now the thing is the number of inventories, increasing the number of inventories, um, uh, or maybe the shared inventory concept. So those things are coming into the picture. Like in every city, earlier they used to keep, let's say, 10 inventories or the 10 warehouses. Instead of 10, they can it make 30. Will that be a cost effective? I mean, so then we have to see like, okay, how much of wastage is happening on a regular basis due to the unrest, due to the uh, difficult situations. Okay, so those things has to be taken into consideration. It comes under operational efficiency. One of the important example, which is the fraud detection, right? So fraud detection comes under the anomaly detection, of course. Maybe all of you have experience nowadays. Suppose with a credit card, if you are regularly purchasing uh, and your average transaction value is let's say less than 10,000, okay, and suddenly you made a purchase of 30,000 or 40,000 or 60,000, immediately we'll get a call from that bank that have you purchased this? Okay, this is good because this is called the anomaly detection. But then again, you can think of like customers are very, impatient. So they will say, boss, this is my card, I am purchasing. Why you are calling me and, disturbing me? So stop this. So that is why they have to be very cautious. Like, okay, before even coming to the final judgment, they ensure all the anomalies are met. Okay. So, for example, key parameters. Location is one of the parameter, transaction amount is another parameter, and let's say the point of sale where this card is being swiped. So that is another parameter. So similarly, there can be like 100 such parameters can be taken into considerations, and then they can really identify that anomalies. And this is actually it happens, especially the credit card fraud or any online transaction fraud. Nowadays, it has reduced significantly. Why? Because in the back end, the number of checks and balances that happens, it's tremendous. Tremendous in the sense I am saying that let's say there are 100 checkpoints. Maybe it is only 10 seconds. Within 10 seconds, they do all these 100 checkpoints, and all these checkposts are giving the green signal. Then only it goes for the purchase. So, so this is the fraud detection, which is identifying fraudulent activities. And um, main challenge here is developing the models. Developing the models earlier, I was talking about, but now I think with the help of GenAI and all, this anomaly detection are relatively easy, but not that easy, because here also you will not get fraud data to develop the model, build the model. Sufficient data is not available. Obviously, that is why the model that we used to develop earlier, I'm talking about, we don't get the accuracy and precision. So that is another challenge. So keeping that in mind, it was becomes very difficult. However, we used to use lot of simulations in this kind of situation by looking into. This is exactly when we were discussing at the very beginning, especially the clinical data, fraud data, where you don't have the availability of the sufficient data. So fraud data, it is not like it's difficult to get. It is actually the number of fraud with respect to the total number of transaction, number of fraud is like 0.01% or 0.001%, right? So obviously with this, if you develop a model, then and go and check your model accuracy precision, it's very difficult. So then we do oversampling, undersampling, and a lot of concepts. We use the statistical techniques we use to arrive at the decision. Okay. So I think this is 7:31. I have crossed 1 minute. I would like to pause here for today's session. It is not a concluding session, so I have my next session, which is on Saturday, where I will be concluding along with the three more examples, then the domain, and one use case I will show you, which I built during one of my engagement. So that's pretty much from my side for today's session. So it is still not concluding session. So sir, I would like to know from you, the coordinator sir, that are we planning to conclude one session one day, or I mean,
no. That is totally up to you. That liberty is given to you. However, means
Perfect.
whatever means you want to take, you can. You are free to do that. Okay, sir. There are two questions in the chat box.
Yeah. I would like to answer.
The first one is asked by Priyanka Dash. Sir, good evening. Sir, can you please tell me whether to do survey or not? As I am pursuing PhD course, some are telling not to do survey, whether it is essential or not. Can you please confirm me this?
Survey, I would say survey is the best thing to do, provided you have time and you have your audiences. So when you will be doing the survey, choose your audiences very intelligently, because if you means you have to do a proper stratified sampling, so that I don't know about your topic of the research, but the survey should be like in your suppose you are doing 100 such audiences through which you are going to get the input, then these 100 audience should be of your representative of the entire population. So that you have to keep it in mind, and you get sufficient data points. I am not saying don't go with the numbers. Maybe you can do 100, 200, or 300, but those dynamics should be captured in your data. So through survey, okay, because that's the first-hand information. And my suggestion would be like this. So this is one aspect where I would always suggest you, I will encourage you to do the survey. But at the same time, I would say you also simulate the data, and then you build your model, and through survey data you can validate. So that is how you can arrive at, because then whatever propositions you are giving, you can give a very good valid justification. So don't listen to something, I mean, which is logical or baseless. I mean, I would say whoever is suggesting, don't go for survey. So they must be given some justification, like I am giving. So if you feel like the justification is legitimate, you go. But according to me, survey is always good to have, provided you maintain all these aspects or dynamics of the population captured in your survey. Otherwise, it will be a biased survey and will be giving some biased opinion, which you have to refrain from. Yes, sir. Next question.
Okay, next question is from
Priyanka Das. Anything from you? I mean, anything else you want to know, or it is good?
Evening, sir. Sir, actually, I have doubt in this topic only. So actually, some are telling me that why we will do survey. I told because I'm very new to this. Like I'm asking, I'm very keen to understand and to know about the different topics and all. And my sir, my background is of tourism. I am from tourism industry. Yes, sir. So this thing I heard, so that I ask you to
So what
clarify.
you can do after this course, maybe if you like to have a candid discussion with me, I am open to do that. Maybe we have a very stipulated time frame, 1.5 hours, so we cannot discuss much. But you can send an email to me. I mean, I will share my email ID with our sir, and then you can get in touch with me over it. I can guide.
Yes, sir.
No problem.
Sure, sir.
But
Sir,
survey is good to have.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, next question is that now I am doing publication because I doesn't have any
Okay.
idea. So our guide is also telling that I too doesn't have that much idea. So I am very much
Mhm.
keen to know about that. So, sir, can you tell
Yeah.
me? And now he is telling that you does not mean to select any other topics, and you need to only conclude with your conclusions. Sir, this
Mhm.
is the strategy to do a publication. Can you sort this?
I will talk to you separately. Maybe this is not the forum. Okay. On this,
Yes.
let's talk separately. But it is not like that. You
He's
since
telling me
whatever
this
your
is the
PhD top
following method. So you all are
no, no, whatever your PhD topic, you should stick to your topic only. I mean, you cannot divert because then it cannot justify. So if you present to the
yes, sir.
publication,
So
that is
actually,
true.
he is
But I will
telling me
talk to
to
you
know.
separately. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Over to the next question, please.
Sir, next question is from Suman Kumar Chaudhary.
Yeah.
He's asking, what is AI agent? Is it different from
Hmm.
generative AI?
No, no, no. AI agent, Gen AI is all the same. It's the people are just using for the sake of their own benefits. So AI agent is whatever I have explained in one of the discussions, right? That orchestrator and then the different domain for the different activity. So basically, you are employing 10 people for 10 different tasks, right? Now, if you want to do manually, definitely you have to employ 10 persons with the 10 different skill sets. But if you do that, I mean, the ideal ways to do that is we should do. Uh, we engage a expert for a specific work. If we don't do, we will not get the right result, right understanding. So in this case, it is definitely so AI agent and generative AI all same. Yeah, this is no different.
Okay, sir.
Anything else?
Till now there is no more questions. Okay.
Okay, so then
So
let's conclude today's session. It's 8 minutes over, but
thank you very much, sir, for your time and for your support. And we are waiting to hear you on next Saturday. Okay, again. So
okay.
thank you very much, sir, for today. And
I will share this presentation with all of you, and
sure.
please go through it. Go through it so that I can quickly take this rest of the few things in my next session, and then I have a plan to showcase something which we built as a solution. Yeah.
Thank you very
Okay.
much, sir. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you very much.
Good
Thank you,
night.
sir. Thanks.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Good night.
Bye.
Sir, can you please provide me your mail ID so that